Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to host a website on a server, also known as the EC2 instance on AWS. So what you want to do is going to go to the search button and search for EC2. So click on EC2. EC2 is our virtual server in the cloud environment. So the next thing I want to do is I want to launch a server, then host a website on this EC2 instance. So I'm going to click on instances and I'm going to click on launch instance. So I'm going to click on launch instance and I'm going to name this web server. I'm going to be picking AMI because I want to use Amazon Linux as my operating system. Scroll down, I'm going to be selecting a T3 micro for a basic operation like this. Since we're not in a production environment, I'm just going to be using a small instance type, which is just 1 gig memory and 2 vCPU. It's a T3 micro, and this is a general purpose EC2 instance. I'm going to be creating a key pair as well, and I'm going to be naming this QuickSum. I'm currently hosting a website for my application, which is QuickSum. I'm going to save this as well. And I'm going to be using the default network settings for this. I'm not putting it in a private network. So I'm going to use the default one, which is on a public network. For my security group, I'm going to allow SSH, HTTPS, and HTTP. So let me just allow HTTP and HTTPS for my security group. And I'm going to click on launch instance. So we're going to wait for the instance to do 3/3 check pass before we can do anything on this EC2 instance. So I'm going to switch my instance state to running and I'm going to wait for it to do a 3/3 check pass. So while you're waiting to get the 3/3 check pass, this button over here is the refresh button. So you can tap on this to check if you have the latest information from your status check. So you can be doing this in minute interval to see if you have the latest information from your EC2 instance. I'm going to wait for some minutes, refresh again, and check if I have the 3/3 check pass. So let's refresh to see if it has done the 3/3 check pass. And here we have the 3/3 check pass here. So I'm going to click on my instance ID, click on connect, and I'm going to be connecting using the EC2 instance connect. So scroll down and click on connect. And this will take us into the Linux environment. When you get into the Linux environment, you want to switch to a root user because this EC2 user doesn't have the permission to install packages inside the Linux environment. So to switch from EC2 user to a root user, I'm going to be using this Linux command, which is sudo su. So that's move to a super user, or you can call it a root user. Now, after I move into a root user, I need to update the environment. So I'm going to say yum update. Now, once it's completed, the next step to do is to now install Apache. Apache is our web server. I'm currently be using Apache to host our website. Yum install. And I'm going to install Apache, and Apache is known as HTTPD. That's our web server. So I'm going to start with that. Yum install HTTPD. I'm going to click on enter. Ask you yes or no. So I'm going to click on Y, which is yes, to confirm the installation. Now, after installing Apache, the next step is to start Apache. So I'm going to do system ctl start Apache. Remember, Apache is what? HTTPD. Now, systemctl start Apache, then we need to enable Apache, which is our final step. Systemctl enable Apache HTTPD. Now, I've enabled Apache. So if I copy the public IP address of my instance, you're going to get a confirmation. So let's quickly check this. Let's go back to our instance ID, copy the public IP4 address, paste it on a new browser, and let's see what it's going to give us. Now, if you have or encounter errors like this, now because the website have not yet been converted from HTTP to HTTPS, so you might literally need to check your address to see if your network is on HTTPS. So I'm going to remove the S here and run it. Now it works, which shows that Apache is currently running. So now let's go back into the Linux environment and carry out other deployments. So the next step is to create a directory, that is create a folder. So I'm going to name our directory project. So mkdir project. So I'm going to name our directory project. Now after making directory project, I'm going to enter that directory. So cd project. Now we're currently inside the project directory. So we're going to create a file and we're going to store our HTML code inside this directory. So I'm going to use our vim, and I'm going to name our file index.html. Now this is the Vim editor, and for me to paste our line of code in here, I need to switch from the command mode to insert mode. And one of the ways to do that is just to click the I on your keyboard. Now it has switched to insert mode. Now I can copy and paste this code inside the Vim editor. I'm going to be attaching the link to this code in the description below. So check the description to get the sample code so that you can also practice at your own end. So I'm going to paste the code in here, right click and paste. And voila, I have all the scripts inside there. Now this is the source code of our website. Now to switch from our insert mode back to command mode, I'm going to click on escape. And to save this inside our editor, I'm going to use column W, which is to save, and Q, which is to quit. Now I have this. So if I try to list and check the files that I have inside my project directory, I just need to do ls. Now ls shows that I have my index.html. Now to move this to where I am going to host this particular index.html. So to do that, I am going to move index.html to var/www/html. Now I have moved this index.html into this particular folder, which is the HTML folder. So if I try to list ls to confirm if I still have the file there. Now I don't have the file anymore because I've moved it from this particular directory to this particular directory. So now let's go back and paste our public IP address if we can find our website up and active. Ctrl V, paste it, and voila, we have our QuickSum website. Now in my last video, I did a detailed step of how to host this website, our QuickSum application, on the AWS Amplify. If you have not watched that video, go back to my channel and see how you can deploy this application on AWS Amplify. Now when you are done practicing, you need to clean up your resources. So go back to your instance ID, come back to instances, and ensure you terminate this particular EC2 instance. So click on instance state and click on terminate instance. So remember, we don't want to turn on or leave anything that we're not currently using. So once you're done practicing, always ensure you clean up your environment, and this is going to make you avoid any unnecessary bill from AWS. So ensure you also terminate your instance once you are done practicing this. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're just watching my video and not subscribing, you're doing something wrong. Please ensure you subscribe so that you can get notification anytime I upload tutorials like this. See you in my next video, guys.